Wally, and I'm the guy with Metacoin. Metacoin.co. We've been tracking this whole cryptocurrency stuff, Bitcoin and related animals of the past. Well, we started the site in March and it's December. So that's 9 months worth of experience, which makes us in some respects veterans of this space, and in other respects we're brand new to it, because you'll run into people who say, oh, I've been at it since 2009 and I bought Bitcoins for a penny each and now I'm living on an island somewhere. Well, they're full of it if they say that. But what we thought we'd do today is the first of what we hope are many, many interviews on our site. And we're going to be talking today with a friend of mine, somebody I've known for several years through the internet channels and network marketing circles and internet marketing circles. Her name is Terri Armstrong. She is one of the sharpest people I know. She's been a big proponent of some of the stuff that I've been doing and vice versa. So we're going to talk broadly about crypto and Bitcoin and what she's learned during the months that she's been involved. We'll talk about what got her into this journey. And then we're going to talk specifically about one of the residual income opportunities that she's a part of. It's a company called USI-Tech. And what we're going to do, my promise to her, is that we're going to use her referral code on the site when we put this video up on the metacoin.co site. We're going to use her referral code. So if you sign up from that, but she's going to share some knowledge about Bitcoin and crypto and USI-Tech. So without further ado, I'm going to say hello to my good friend Terri Armstrong. And Terri.
Well, hey Dave, how are you? How's everything going this Christmas season?
Yeah, it's we're trying to stay as festive as we can. Here you see the tree over my shoulder. So I guess question one is, what into Bitcoin and into your own cryptocurrency journey?
Well, so I'm in the technology field. I've been in technology, teaching and being an engineer and all that fun stuff for about 25 years. So I started following the cryptocurrency, particularly Bitcoin, about a year ago, doing some reading on it, just kind of keeping my eye on what's going on. And then about 6 months ago, I really started following Bitcoin kind of religiously, looking at what it was doing, what was being written about it, how did it really work, and checking the price of it on a regular basis in the last, 2-3 months. So really, that's how I got started. It's just, I'm a geek and it seemed like a pretty geeky thing, so.
Yeah, what's interesting about this is that I hear a lot of that from people, that it's like, tech geek sort of thing. But I also see a lot of people who are more, I guess I would call them sort of, and this is a bit in my bent, sort of econo nerds more than anything, where they see maybe they used to follow gold, or they heard Rand Paul talk about the gold standard, or Ron Paul talk about the gold standard, and they're like, "Ooh, wow, this is interesting. How does money really work?" And you see this intersection of the two kinds of people that really, I think, have a pretty interesting dialogue with each other, because on the one hand, there's the tech side of it, and on the other hand, there's the, well, this is actual money, but you can't hold it, and it's got to answer those. It's got to answer those questions of is it fungible? Is it a store of value? Is it a medium of exchange? Well, at the same time, it's got to be technologically sound. That's pretty complex. And I'm the kind of guy who doesn't get. I mean, I understand enough about the technology to be able to explain it to somebody, but I'm not the kind of person who will go write lines of code. And you strike me as somebody who might actually dig into the code and look under the hood and be like,
I'll look under the hood for sure, but I've never been a coder. I can read somebody else's code, but I'm not I'm not a developer of code, but I definitely understand the underlying technology of Bitcoin. My hesitation initially was, will it be adopted? When you think about currencies, so the US dollar is no longer tied to the gold standard, so the government can basically print money whenever it wants to, therefore it devalues the dollar itself. So they say that a dollar today, or a 1956 dollar has about 12 cents of dollar value today. So that's because we've kind of honestly polluted our currency, for lack of better terms. Whereas cryptocurrency, Bitcoin in particular, has a very fixed limit on it. It's only ever going to have 21 million coins, period. So there's no printing more just because people are demanding it, which is one of the things I really like about it, is that it's got a fixed value. It's got a fixed number of instances of it. So that's
right.
under the covers. That's one of the things I like about it.
Yeah, and I think the scarcity thing confuses some people, and that's a great segue to what I wanted to ask you is, what is the most confusing of broadly crypto and specifically Bitcoin or any of the other coins? What's been the most confusing thing for you to grasp? And then how did you get to the point where you overcame that initial confusion?
And initially, as I was reading about it, watching the YouTubers all talk about it, the most confusing thing for me was, how do I buy it? How do I get my hands on Bitcoin? Because you can't just go to your bank and say, hey, I want some Bitcoin. You might be able to do that in the future, but today you've got to figure out the whole exchange process, the currency exchange. So to me, that was the most confusing piece. And honestly, I did a lot of research about all the different exchanges that you could buy crypto coins on, not just Bitcoin, because there's a lot of other coins out there as well. And looking at their history, how stable are they? What is their backbone? How are they doing it? If I buy through that exchange, then what do I do with it, right? Just holding it, then I've got to do something with it. It's kind of like putting a dollar bill in your wallet. If I go to the exchange, I get $1 and I put it in my wallet. That's great. I have $1. But as that value changes on a daily basis, sometimes even a minute basis, I'm not gaining any value out of having that $1 in my wallet. I've got to do something with it to make it work for me. So again, the most confusing part for me was finding the right exchange. I finally decided to go with Coinbase. It's got a great history. It's very secure. It's got a solid reputation. So to me, Coinbase is the exchange that I choose to buy Bitcoin on. I also have a Bitcoin wallet. Both of them charge fees for converting US dollars or Canadian dollars or whatever your local currency is into Bitcoin, and they run about the same. So there's really no saying this one's better than that one. It just depends on what you want to do. Coinbase also allows me to buy a couple of other coins other than Bitcoin, whereas the Bitcoin wallet only allows me to buy Bitcoin. So,
well, and that's one of the other things I wanted to ask was those other coins that you can get on Coinbase. And it's interesting because there's some scuttlebutt today. The Ripple price has gone up, and there's some scuttlebutt about whether or not Ripple is going to be added to Coinbase in the not too distant future. What are the other coins that you've been looking at and or thinking about purchasing and or purchasing?
So I have a couple of other coins in my, I'm going to call it my portfolio, right? Because I don't keep really anything in my wallet. I buy it and then I go do something with it. So I have Litecoin, which I really like. It's a peer-to-peer blockchain currency, just like Bitcoin. It tends to have little lower transaction fees, and it seems to be a little bit faster in the transactions. Right now, Bitcoin is a little laggy on actually finishing a transaction. So you can request the transaction, but it takes a little while for it to actually complete, whereas Litecoin's a little bit faster. And then Ethereum, which is not only a crypto coin, but it's also a platform for developing applications on. I have that in my portfolio as well. With Ethereum, the developers can basically open a store on the platform and then use the coin as the form of monetary source for transactions. So it's actually pretty brilliant if you think about it under the covers. You have the applications that are running on top of it that are secure and they're unhackable because of the blockchain technology. And then you have the transactions, the monetary fees, which are also unhackable because of the blockchain technology. So that's the other one I'm holding on to, and it's done pretty well in the last few days. It's more than, I think it's doubled actually in the last few days, and it's kind of hovering right around that double point, so around $700 I think right now per coin.
Yeah, all three of the, what I guess they're calling the Coinbase 3 these days, have just had nutty weeks, in a good way. And I think part of the thinking is that there's so much money. I read, and this goes back the end of November, there was a crypto analyst who reported that Coinbase users than Charles Schwab.
Wow.
So that, and they were signing up like 300,000 a day or some crazy number like that, which then goes to show that, okay, well, if you got these people getting into it and they want to use the easiest way to get into it, Coinbase being the easiest way to get into it, but they also want to spread their risks around. I mean, I remember the first I was able to introduce a friend of mine to crypto, and actually we did I sent the Coinbase referral link and he signed up, and he's like, well, what should I do here? I said, well, first of all, not a registered investment advisor, do your own research, all of those fun things that you have to say up front. I were just getting into it. Well, I said, why don't you consider doing what I did when I first got started, which was I had a limited amount of capital, and I said, I'm doing a little Ether and a little Bitcoin, both of them, and I'm just going to sit and watch it grow. And that was the early part for me. It was the early part of the year. It was like the 5th of January or something like that. So I got in at a really good time on both of those. But yeah, and now with today's about what else might be added, I'm looking at the prices right now. The XRP price, the Ripple price, is 4,770 satoshis. So in US dollars, it's gone up to 78 cents a coin for Ripple. And I saw one random tweet today that was claiming that somewhere on the developer site that here was a list of the coins that were going to be added by Coinbase in 2018. And that list was XRP, it was Monero, Stratus, and Dash. And so when you think about kind of a portfolio of sort of real use case, plus Stratus is kind of I would say an Ethereum clone, and Dash is sort of fighting Litecoin to be the consumer coin, one that is going to overtake Swift and become kind of the banking protocol that is used globally to send large transactions around for tiny amounts. So there's certainly a lot of, I think in this discussion, we're just scratching the surface, right? I mean, we're taking Coinbase is the easiest way to introduce somebody to crypto, right? So you say, oh, here, use this Coinbase link. We'll both get a nice bonus, and you can start going. And they've got 3 to choose from, and that's not a ton. And that's actually, you could argue that we talked before about trying not to cram too many concepts down somebody's throat at one time. If you get started on Coinbase and they get back to you and say, okay, I'm here, there's only 3 things I can buy, what should I do? That's a lot easier way to get started, sort of to hedge your bets, to spread your risk around, as opposed to going to Poloniex or Bittrex or one of the exchanges and looking at
the hundreds of coins.
The hundreds, right? Yeah. So,
I tend to be fairly conservative. I did a lot of research before I did the first thing, took the first action with Bitcoin or anything else. That is actually one of the reasons I like Coinbase, is because there's not a ton of moving parts on it yet. There's not 100 different coins listed on it, because I think having the three, we'll call them the big three on there, gives me a place to start. And I can start with whatever I have at the moment. I don't have to try and buy, $15,000 worth of Bitcoin. I can buy $50 worth of Bitcoin. And it gives me a place to start. And I think that is the hardest thing for people to do, is to just get started. Whereas, you go to an exchange, and I've got an exchange that I use for some other things that I'm looking at, but right now, those are, instead of blowing $50 at Target, I'm going to blow $50 on this exchange on a coin and just see what happens. So
yeah,
the same kind of thing. But from an investment point of view, I'm looking at 3 different coins, and those are the 3 we talked about. Bitcoin.
Now,
yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say that's a good segue, because you're the one who introduced me to USI-Tech, and that was, and folks who've been on the Metacoin site, if you click on passive income on the side, that we have tried. I've lost count of how many of these platforms we've tried out, and some of them have gone belly up on us, and we're out that we could have spent at Target on something stupid. Instead, we spent it on one of these platforms. We've had some successes, but we've had a couple of things that have gone under for us. You've been around residual income and direct sales and network marketing for a while. And again, you introduced us to USI-Tech, and I'm curious as to what attracted you to their platform and their business.
Well, as you said, I was in network marketing when we met. I was with a company that was selling, we'll call them nutritionals, and you and I became friends as a result of having a few conversations. Honestly, I was completely burned out on network marketing. I didn't want to buy products I didn't need, just to make a quota. I didn't want to recruit, which is it's the mantra in network marketing. You have to keep recruiting, and you have to keep buying product, and the people you recruit have to keep buying product. That's how you make money in network marketing, right? I still buy products from that company because I still believe those products are awesome, and they've done me a lot of good, but I don't want to do any more recruiting. Right. And that's one of the things I really love about USI-Tech. It's not like network marketing, right? It's not that endless cycle of recruiting and buying, rinse, repeat monthly. At USI-Tech, I truly have passive income. Every single day that I have my Bitcoin pack in USI-Tech, they're paying me, well, it's 5 days a week. It's Monday through Friday. They pay me 1% a day, which, think about that for a moment. My best interest earning account at my bank is 0.01% interest, right? Not a lot of coming back in on that. So USI-Tech lets me earn this income whether I have any other referrals to USI-Tech or not, whether they buy any packs or not, doesn't matter. I bought what I need. And quite honestly, this is the first time I can honestly say that I can't actually buy all the product that I want, right? Because every time I buy a Bitcoin pack, I'm getting Bitcoin. So I want to buy more, right? But the bottom line is I get residual, truly passive residual income on my packs that I have bought through USI-Tech, whether anybody else ever joins an organization or buys a pack. So in that respect, it is affiliate marketing. I could tell somebody what I'm doing, and if they use my link to sign up, well, they're going to give me a tiny little commission on that, which is awesome. But I'm not driving that volume train, right? I don't have to do that anymore, and I don't have to recruit crazy amounts of people just to keep the volume up. So that's what I love about it.
So how is it that USI-Tech is able to pay that on a regular basis? Is it mining? Is it bot trading? Is it a combination?
They have some proprietary algorithms. For all of us geeks, we know what algorithms are. proprietary code basically that is going out and verifying transactions on Bitcoin, right? It's a blockchain technology. Those blocks have to be verified. So that's what the mining is. So they're mining, and basically they're paying all of their subscribers, which is what I would be, right? I would be a subscriber. I have a Bitcoin pack with them. They're paying me basically interest, which is really, it's considered a return on capital because I'm letting them use my capital, which is the Bitcoin, to do their work, which is the hashing, right? The verifying of all of the blocks. And then they're paying me for that. They're paying me on average 1% a day. There's nowhere else that I can get that return on investment. Just nowhere. Right now, nowhere. So.
And if I'm, correct me if I'm wrong, didn't USI-Tech actually begin with Forex trading? Weren't they involved? Yes. Did they have some?
Yes.
So they had some technology that they understood in the Forex world. That's fascinating because the thing about, and I don't even want to say I dabbled in Forex. I looked at Forex several years ago, and I had people who were like, oh, you should check out this Forex stuff. It's a great way to make money. And the interesting thing about that was it wasn't 24/7. It was like 20. What did they do? They take like 4 hours off a night or something. Mm-hmm. And then on Sundays, they're only 12 hours. So it's like not a 24-hour day or something. And I thought that was a little odd. I mean, I'm just used to cryptocurrency exchanges going 24/7 and never sleeping.
Well,
which is also what, yeah.
So to understand on the back end, this is where the geek in me comes out. They have equipment, machines, right? Think of them as computers or supercomputers that are running 24 hours a day. And they're doing this hashing. It takes some computing power to do the hashing, right? Because these blocks have to be verified, and they have to be independently verified by 4 different sources. So really USI-Tech is just one of those sources that's verifying any particular block. But USI-Tech has this equipment that is running all the time. Well, they need maintenance time on the equipment, right? They have to keep, think of a server. You have to keep the operating system up to date. You have to keep the latest drivers loaded. You have to have some time to do this maintenance. So at USI-Tech, they take Saturday and Sunday and do maintenance. That's what they're doing on those 2 days. So Monday through Friday, they're doing all the hashing, and they're paying the percentage on all of the funds that are sitting there. And then on Saturday and Sunday, they're taking some downtime to do their maintenance. And sometimes that's human maintenance as well as hardware maintenance. The people running those systems need to have a little time off too. So that's just the geek world.
Yep. Cool. So, and you know, I love that a lot of these platforms will bring out the Einstein quote about compound interest. Mm-hmm. One of the compelling things about USI-Tech is should they be able to continue paying at this rate, I mean, the compounding can be pretty staggering.
Yeah. So, you know, Einstein did have the quote about compound interest. Well, at least it's been attributed to him, right? He said, compound interest is the 8th wonder of the world. He who understands it earns it, and he who doesn't pays it. Well, I want to be the one who earns it. So a quick lesson on compounding interest. If you owe money on your car or your house or a credit card, you're paying compound interest to the bank that loans you the money in the first place. And what they're doing is they're charging you a fee every month for your balance. And that fee gets rolled on top of the balance. So the next month, they're going to charge you a fee on the new balance, which is the old balance plus the previous month's interest. And they keep doing that. This is why most people, or I should say some people, never pay down their credit card debt, because it's constantly, the balance is constantly increasing because of the interest. Well, I want to be a person who earns interest rather than pays interest. So USI-Tech has a compounding interest model. So they're paying me 1% a day. And I can basically choose to automatically reinvest that 1% when I have enough interest earned to buy another pack. And therefore now I have another pack working for me. And then I have another pack working for me. So yes, it is compounding. And the nice thing about it is you can take You can take all of the interest that they pay you and roll it into new Bitcoin packs, or you can withdraw it anytime you want to. So until I basically am earning enough interest to replace my full-time income, I'm just going to keep rolling it over and compounding and compounding and compounding so that, you know, I earn more quickly. It really is the first time I've truly earned passive income. I mean, it is absolutely autopilot. I just buy a pack, forget about it.
Cool. So I'm curious about, kind of broadly speaking, the Bitcoin price,
Mm-hmm.
which was hovering in the 16,000 range or so today. See that a year from now, you and I are chatting a year from now, let's say, and Bitcoin's price is blank. What's your guess?
First off, I think we're going to come back and look at this video and we're going to laugh that Bitcoin was at $16,000, right? That's the first thing. I think we're going to laugh about that. As it gets more widely adopted, as more people open Bitcoin wallets, or more people go to Coinbase and open up the wallet there and start buying Bitcoin, the price is going to go up, because the greater the demand and the supply isn't changing, therefore the price is going to go up. It's supply and demand economics, period. Right now, it's estimated that less than 1% of the US population has any Bitcoin. I think with what it's been doing over the last couple of weeks, that's going to start growing exponentially, the number of people who are actually investing in Bitcoin. Not necessarily that there's a lot of market to use it right now. Not every store is accepting Bitcoin. You can't go and buy a house with Bitcoin yet, or maybe you can. Maybe I just don't know about it yet. But I think as the banks are adopting it, I mean, Bank of America just announced that they are going to be a cryptocurrency dealer. I mean, think about that. Bank of America, one of the largest banks in the United States, has just got a contract to do that. So I think as it gets more widely adopted, we're going to look at this, December of 2018. One, we're going to laugh that it was at 16, because I think we're probably going to be around the 50K mark per coin. So
yeah, it's funny because that sort of prediction doesn't faze me at all, and I've been trying to tell people that you should prepare for the possibility that Bitcoin could go to 100,000 by this time next year. You should also prepare for the possibility that Bitcoin could go down to 100 next year. And I think that I agree 100% in what you're saying, that we're not at critical mass yet.
No, not yet.
The users, and I think the U.S. probably in the above average category when it comes to Bitcoin usage, and maybe there's some real outliers like China and Japan and Korea, where there's a ton of Bitcoin being transacted all the time. To the world where this is like, no, what are you talking about? But I think one of the other things that is a real possibility is the correction.
Mm-hmm.
Not be a permanent correction, and I wouldn't envision it to be a permanent correction, but I could see there being a point, maybe a black swan event, or maybe just something geopolitical, or just human nature, where then there's a drop of some sort, 50 to 75% drop in the price. Sort of a retracement type thing. And then you get all the Bollinger Band types looking at the numbers and being like, well, wait a minute, this is going to set us up for another spheric launch. But the other thing I tell people is make sure you stay grounded, because this whole thing has the potential to go crazy in a good way. And the crazy in a good way will also bring out the crazies. Folks will not be the kinds of people that you want to interact with in real life or online or whatever. So
I view exchanges and coins kind of like sushi. I'm not going to go to any place and eat sushi unless I've got a recommendation for that place. kind of keep your feet on the ground, right? I don't want food poisoning. Well, I also want to get wiped out. I'm not going to go and bet my house on any one coin. Like you said, Bitcoin may go up. It may go up to 50,000. It could go up to 100,000. It also is already correcting a little bit because we just saw 20K a couple of days ago, and now we're around 16. It's supply and demand. As Wall Street and the exchanges around the world are getting involved in it, it's going to go up because more people are going to invest in it. And if you view it as an investment, then I think you're going to be fine. You can start small and just buy a little bit at a time, and then you're basically diversifying your cost, right? You're spreading your cost over different price points, so you're not, like I said, betting the house on it.
Have you been watching? I know we talked a little bit, and you shared some stuff on Facebook about the futures trading. So there's the SIBO, which started on Sunday, and then CME is going to kick in next week. On just generally speaking, the futures markets getting in and what that could mean to that 50,000 price target that you're talking about.
So you get traders involved and they're going to run the price up, right? They buy it low, they want to sell it high. It's going to be the same thing here. They're going to try and run the price of Bitcoin up so that they can sell what they've invested in at a high point. And then, of course, as they're selling it off, it's going to start dropping because they're going to basically flood the market with Bitcoin for sale. Well, it's a little bit more difficult than it would be, let's say, for a typical stock, because Bitcoin isn't controlled by a central bank, right? So it's very diversified already. It's not that easy to get your hands on a significant amount at a time. You have to have some incredible buying power to go out and buy, $500 million worth of Bitcoin or more than that, right? Which is what a trading house will try to do. Well, there's just not that much available right now. I mean, the folks that created Bitcoin are hanging on to their share of it. They're not letting go of it, and there's only 21 million coins ever. So they'll try and drive it up, and they will to some level, and then they'll dump it. And, if you're smart, you pay attention to this, and you buy when they dump and keep your portfolio going, right? You don't have to be a day trader. And I would say that's the one thing I would recommend against. Don't sit glued to Coinbase all day long and look at the price of the coin going up and down, up and down, up and down. You'll make yourself absolutely insane. Buy it, go on with your daily life, maybe check it once in the morning, maybe check it once at night, and then just, let it do its thing. And if you can find a way to invest it rather than leave it in a wallet, that's what I recommend, whether it's Bitcoin or Litecoin or Ethereum or any of those. Find a way to invest it. Get involved with mining, but only do it with a reputable company because there's plenty of scammers out there already.
I agree. And I guess anything else you want to share with this audience about what you've learned, what you want to learn, and where you think things are going?
So what I've learned is, and this is in general, I'm a perfectionist. So I like to do a ton of research, and I like to cross all the T's and dot the I's before I do anything. What I can say is Bitcoin and the other, we'll call them the big three, they're here to stay. Kind of like the internet early days, right? People are like, oh, it's not going to last. It is going to last. It is absolutely going to last because it frees us up from any one country controlling too much currency in the world. That's one of the reasons Bitcoin and the likes are going to stay around. It gives us an easier way to do peer-to-peer transactions. So it's not going anywhere. The thing about being a perfectionist, you can research, research, and research. I wish that I, like you, Dave, had bought a little bit of it back in January instead of waiting, till a few months ago to start buying it. Because then where would I be? I would be further ahead. But it's kind of a ridiculous point at this, to say, oh, well, I bought it at 16,000 instead of $1.60. 16,000 is still just the beginning of Bitcoin. So, don't feel like you've missed the boat. Go ahead and start buying little pieces at a time, and then put it to work for you.
There you go. Well, cool. Well, Terri, it has been a pleasure. Thanks for joining joining us. And again, so I'm putting this link up. I'm pointing downward because what I'm going to do is we'll put the video up on the site. Is going to be where my hand is. So, yeah, down here there will be Terry's link to join USI-Tech, which you can do that for free, right? You can like spin around on the site and get to know it without investing anything.
Absolutely. You can create an account for free. There is no monthly charge for the tool. There is no monthly auto ship like some other things, right? You can buy a pack or not buy a pack, but you absolutely can join for free.
There you go. So we'll put the link down there, and we will do this again. If not, we'll do this again sometime in the coming months. But we should set a calendar item for a year from today.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
we'll go back and watch. So on December 14th of 20, back and watch the 2017 video, and then we'll talk about what we've learned over the 365 days that followed. So.
And we'll laugh and we'll have fun. And
yeah, exactly. Okay, so for Terri Armstrong, I'm Dave Vandewally. This has been a Metacoin interview. Thanks so much for watching, listening. The site, see the links, take a look at Terry's link, get involved with USI-Tech, buy yourself some Bitcoin, and make it a crypto sort of new year. All right, we'll see you later.